Oh, what the heck, I've got a flipping shadow. Oops, stepping on everything. Right. So anyway, I'm just pressing these laminations into place. I'll try and get this angle better. It's a little bit fiddly. Well, I've still got a flipping shadow. Hang on. That's better. Right, I thought I'd better show this actually, because at some point friend's going to want to know how it's done. It's not easy. Well, it's not that bad, as long as you're using the right size laminations. But basically you've got to push them in with pliers. Got to get them lined up in the slot first. Make sure I haven't got any trash in the way. Right. And I'm off camera as typical. So I'll just get my knife and just round the corner a little bit. I figured I might as well do a live stream since nothing else seems to be happening right now. But this is for my magnetic coupling. Once the holes are cleared on the top, I'm not worried about the trash at the bottom, because once you push them through with pliers, which is what we're going to do, the laminations push out any trash anyway, so they kind of cut the way through. But I've got to get them started. So I kind of get them lined up as best as possible. Get my pair of pliers. Squeeze. And it's already started now, so then I'll go on the other side. And squeeze a bit more. Go on the other side. It's alternate. Of course, you could probably push them in with a vice as well, but I don't want to break the nubs off the end, which is probably what would happen if I stuck them in a vice. That's two in. Two of them in. Pliers are magnetic. Some of these have actually gone rusty as well, but it doesn't matter. A little bit of rust won't hurt nothing. Get it lined up. Oh, computer's just gone. Oh no, I thought I'd crashed then. The thing's gone to sleep. What's going on here? Huh, Shubas, you are funny. So, I can't see what I'm doing now. There we go. Another set of laminations installed. They want to be tight so that they don't fall out, and then it says you won't need to glue them in. Obviously, if you've got laminations. Obviously, this live stream, I'm doing it just for one friend actually at the moment, or another friend who decides to follow later on. But right, so the laminations are fitted in, and they should be right underneath this bit of plastic. There's a little bit of plastic that's in the way, but it doesn't matter, the flux goes straight through that anyway. So they're basically just under the surface, right there. Right next to the wheel mount. Don't have to uncover them really, but that's where they come out there. I suppose I'll put a little bit more acetone on here because it just it binds them and stops the plastic from cracking if there's too much force on it, and it helps to meld the plastic and everything in. Put a little bit of that on. But the print generally has come out very well. It's very round because I've got 100 steps per whatever, yeah. So you can't even see that it's got steps on there, virtually invisible now. So there's that's how I install my laminations. So the next phase is really to fit a new wheel. I've got to get a new wheel installed on there, which I've 3D printed actually. So, hang on a minute. Oh, I need to move the camera. It's really more of a roller than a wheel. The whole point of the roller is just to avoid collisions with the rotor and the laminations. If it happens to catch when it's running at high speed, it's to prevent losing at rotor speed, because the roller just absorbs that and spins up. But we're not supposed to be in contact with the rotors all the time. It's no point, it just makes a lot of noise and it's irritating and it slows things down a bit. But the rotors are just there as a guide. Because in the past I had issues where the magnets would stick to the steel and I couldn't get the damn things off. and it was really difficult. But it's not so bad anyway right now, because the way the laminations are, they stick mainly to this end, the apex of the formation, but once you get to the middle, there's very little pull actually in the middle there. That's a very little pull there, and it escapes easily. But it's when it comes in at this end. To demonstrate that, I'll stick it over to this side, and let's see if I can do it. I'll put it over there, and if we put the magnet on it, you'll see it sits right about there, and that is about there. So it kind of pulls in, but then it escapes quite easily from the other side. When it's in the middle, I'm using the round neodymiums at the moment, but there was actually triangular neodymiums on the rotors, so they actually travel through the centre, and it releases very easily on the back. There's very little pull there, where the laminations are arranged. It pulls at the tip very strongly there. I need some transparent. Where's the transparent stuff from? Around here. I'll put it now. I keep losing things. Well, this plastic lid should work. When it gets to the middle there, if it's in the dead centre, there's very little pull there, look. But there, quite a lot, it slides through. Anyway, I need to get the wheel on. So, a bit of heat shrink sleeving. There's my wheel, my roller. Camera's moved. And get a little bit of. I went gash myself on the flipping steel sheet. I went and caught my arm on it. Pretty sharp. It always fly away on me. Right. Bit of heat shrink sleeving. And I'll just shrink that down without melting the ABS, which is not a good idea. Yeah, it did move a bit. very quick, otherwise you knock the plastic, and I don't want to do that. So there's the wheel, roller. Why is it I can't seem to get this camera just right? Now I need a bearing axle. I use a bit of aluminium because it's non-magnetic. I'm just reaming out this hole because it got plugged up. There's acetone on there to strengthen it, and it's plug the hole up a bit. Right, so I'll push that in there. I have to mark it off. Take it out. Getting my shears, metal shears. Hold the other end because I'm not far enough in. Got you. Now I've got a new shaft. There. It's aluminium, so it cuts quite easy anyway. Now I'm going to lubricate that a little bit because I was a bit worried about friction melting things, so I'm going to stick a little bit of this grease in the hole of the plastic. Roller. It's silicone grease. Now I'm going to wiggle the shaft around in there a bit. Now I'm going to clean it off the axle because I don't want it to be greased on the end when I stick it in place. So now I get my roller and put the roller in. Oh, I've got a burr on there, hang on. I'll just check, make sure that hole's clear. Right, install roller and drive shaft. As I say, this is all the extra stuff really, it's just to make life a bit easier. Right, drive shaft's in. There's a bit of grease came out the other end actually. Right, now I seal up both ends with some ABS melted with acetone, and to stop the actual shaft from coming out. So this is the final bit of the roller. Because you can melt plastic over it, which is easy I suppose. Well, you could use a hot iron to do it, but I just like doing it this way. I think my needle's blocked up. acetone, some solve that. It should come out in a second. I just don't want it oozing out all over the place. Ah, there we go, it's coming now. Right. Right, I'll seal that end up so the shaft can't fall out. And this other end. There we go, and let it dry. It's a bad idea to turn the roll at this point until the shaft's anchored properly and set. But I'm just making sure it turns a little bit, otherwise there's going to be problems. Yeah. I can ease it off later if it's stiff. There's my roller. This camera goes out of focus whenever I bring things close, so magnifying glass should help. So there's my newly made thingammy bob. Now, I've got to fit that onto a new arrangement, you know, for the thing. So I've already put the caps in. These little caps that go in there, they just pop in like that. Very thin. And it's made for adjustment. Doesn't matter if it's tight because I want it to be tight. So I get my assembly, and these little holes, these little pins that stick up, they go through the holes of the thing at the bottom. So you pop that on like that. It pops into place, and it should turn. It does. Right, now we've got to anchor it so it doesn't pop off, because the magnets would pull this out if it wasn't prevented from pulling out. So the next phase is more of the plastic ABS, melted ABS in acetone slurry, and then I'm going to go into the bottom of the hole where the pins come through, right in the bottom, and blob that over. Do the other one. By tomorrow that'll be rock solid, it won't come out. Well, it will do if you force it with pliers. It's not the idea though. So that's anchored in place, is that one now. I've got one more to do. It'll dry pretty quick actually overnight, and I mean, basically all I do really is I just have a little container and I just throw some bits of ABS into it and some acetone and leave it to melt overnight, and then I've stuck it up in the syringe, and then I've got my glue, my ABS glue. I also made some ABS putty, which is in red, and this is also soaked in acetone, and this is plastic. Right, this is plastic that's soaked in ABS in acetone, and look at that, you can shape it into anything you want. And it's cold, so you don't burn yourself. So there's some ABS plastic that's been soaked in acetone. It's like the consistencies of plasticine or silly putty, but you can shape things out of it. You can stretch it, and the thinner it is, the quicker it dries. But you can basically mould this into whatever you want. So, for example, because I've soaked it in acetone, it will dry out pretty quick if it's not in a sealed container, which is why I keep it in a sealed container. Then I can add some acetone when it starts to dry out too much. And obviously, if it's this thick, you can apply it with your fingers without getting it all over your hands. Look, no stickiness at all, it's just like putty. And then you can repair plastic, ABS plastic and things, but I wouldn't use this on there because it's the wrong colour. But it's great if you've got something that's broken, it's made out of ABS, and you've got a black, for example, you can repair mobile phones with it. You can just shape it, and then when you've got what you want, you can shine it up with some squirts of acetone over it and gloss it over, and it looks pretty good actually. This is really thin now, I've stretched it out. So I'm just showing you what you can do with plastic. You don't waste it, never chuck any old filament away. I just throw it into a container, melt it down, and then I can use it. And my daughter can use it in her artwork. She can make artwork out of stuff like this, she can do all sorts. And it's flexible until it dries. Once it's solid, I'm not going to show you too much of this, but basically that was some, and it's solid now. Looks like a little guy. Anyway, so there we go. And you can also cut it with scissors. You can cut pieces out with scissors. You can make all sorts with that, even though it's just dried up. But what I usually do is I just throw any waste plastic back into this container, then squirt some acetone over it like this, and once refilling anyway, it's drying out. Then cover it up and leave it. It'll make it all stuffy. It'll keep it moist and ready for when I use it to fill something. To fill a hole or something. I'm just making sure the lid's on right. Otherwise, I don't want this stuff vaping off on me, because if the lid's on properly, it doesn't. And I always put it in a well ventilated area anyway. So anyway, that's that. And I've just got to do this other one now. So I've got to put the laminations in this one as well. I'm going to do this. So let's move on to do. So it's basically the same thing all over again. What have I got on the floor? Oh, it's just my magnets. That's not lined up now. Lot of alignment. I need to just make it easy for you to go in to start with. It's exactly the right size, it's just fiddly getting it started because these corners are so big and sharp. You've got to get them right in to begin with. If it doesn't sit in there by itself, it's not in right. Right. Okay, 2 in that one. Two more. I'll pick these things up. Oops! Dropped it. It's in far enough it won't fall out now. Yeah, and I'm not sure if anyone would wonder, but yeah, these are further apart than the original ones. The original ones I had them a lot closer together. 2 reasons for that. Firstly, it works better when they're further apart. Secondly, I needed a bit more room in between anyway for the plastic rivets. So yeah, it worked out pretty well. I did that. The original ones were just crude test pieces anyway. But I found out that having them about at that angle is better, really. The reason for that is the diameter of the magnet. I'll just use a ceramic one because it's a lot easier to demonstrate with, but you look at the angle of this ceramic magnet, it's exactly the same size as the neodymiums, but there's a very small amount of lamination overhang on the edges there. Right, just on the edge. Now, that's an advantage because the blocked wall or the field that goes around the edge of a magnet tends to repel itself. Not with these ceramic ones. Ceramic ones behave in a completely different way. But with a neodymium magnet, it just does not like sitting with that blocked wall focused in on itself because it pulls away much easier. Normally you have a problem with steel attracting to the magnet, but if you focus if you break a magnet in half, it's hard to stick it back together. It pushes itself apart even though it used to belong that way. That's because the way magnets work is that the fields are in a lot of the fields are compressed, and this side it's actually weaker on this edge than it is on this top there. As you can see, it likes being at that end really, but you can slide it back and it will actually come back in a bit, but the actual field is weaker there. Oops, actually weaker there than it is right at the tip, because from what I believe, it's because the magnetic field of vortex, the middle is basically a black hole, and that sucks everything into it. So we need to avoid that black hole really section of the magnet, which is right in the middle. And another idea I'm thinking about at the moment is, another thing I'm also thinking about at the moment is having parallel axis laminations instead of these. That might even work better, but I'd have to see if I can fit it in the design though. But what I mean by parallel, I mean instead of having it come to a single point, have it parallel down the side of the magnet, so it's like how can I show you what I mean with that? I think you'll know what I mean by when I say parallel. But instead of like that. So that's another idea I'm thinking about, because we seem to have less drag, and but it depends if I can fit it into that small area, because I've got to fit it into the concentric area, and if it doesn't fit, then it doesn't fit. So if I had a parallel line going through there and another one going through there, it might work, but I'd have to have laminations on the ends instead of, because it won't fit that way. It would overlap. If you see what I mean. Anyway, it's something to look at later. Anyway, I made two more of my cores today. I haven't ground them in yet. I have to put these are the other laminations, the ones with the U section, bit missing in the middle. I stuck them all in with some ABS slurry. I've got to let them dry out overnight because there's protrusions. I actually trimmed the excess material off. And I've got to let them dry out. Then tomorrow I'm going to put them on the grinder, you know, the side of the wheel, and grind them flat so they basically come out like the thing that fell on the floor, which is what I'm going to get now. So they come out like that. Right, nice and flat. So pop this out. Right, and as you can see, that's perfectly flat. And that's because I ground it in on my grinder on the side of the wheel, and that's perfectly flat on that side. Right, so it has to be perfectly flat, and it has to be the right width as well to fit in between these two concentrics as well. So that will fit perfectly in there, like that. Trap my finger a bit there. That one lines up pretty well. It's to replace two of these with the ferrites on the very end. The rest of them are still ferrites for the coils. The rest of them are still ferrites that run through the coils, you know, the secondary coils. These here. So those are using ferrites going through, but the two on the end are going to be using the steel trap, magnetic trap, whatever you want to call it. And so yeah, these are going to be the same once I've ground them in. They're a little bit too wide right now. They're actually wide, a little bit wider than the actual concentric arrays. So they stick out a bit, and they're not very flat because I had to cut some of the laminations down. I had to cut some bits that stuck out, so it's not even yet. So I've got to grind them flat while they're in the plastic, and I've got to be careful not to get them too hot because they'll melt the plastic. So I basically got to grind them and turn them as I'm doing it like this, slowly, on the wheel, like this, grind, I'm not even on camera, grind them on the wheel, while I'm turning like this, so they're nice and flat. Otherwise, if you do it in one side, and you just do it on one side, you end up being cockeyed, and the face is all squidgy at all the right angles, so you've got to very carefully rotate as you're grinding to keep everything nice and flat. So anyway, I've got to do four sides of these. I've got another one of these to do as well, and then I'll have four of them, which is what I want. So they'll come out like this. This one here. Nice and flat. And I hate doing it as well on the angle grinder, not the angle grinder, the bench grinder. I hate doing it on that thing because if this thing gets caught and it jumps out of your hand, you can end up with another injury bigger than what I got when I caught my wrist on that flipping steel sheet. So yeah, you got to be careful. So they're going to dry out overnight. I actually printed another one, but it's yeah, I think that's a fail. It's definitely a fail, is that one. Something went wrong with it when I printed it. The other three were fine. I don't know what happened. It looks like the pieces moved. I don't quite understand what happened there, but it looks almost as if something moved on the printer. I don't know what, but it's weird because it's fine on the other side. On the back, it looks alright. It doesn't make sense to me. I've been trying to figure out what the hell happened there. You know, it's just like it's kind of like a time warp or something, but yeah, it's definitely warped. I don't like this silver plastic, I tell you, it's really horrible stuff. I thought I'd try it, but I really want to go back to the pink stuff, but when I tried to order the pink stuff last time, they told me they'd sold out. Well, I think they're sold out because it's very popular. It's obviously been printing better than this grey stuff or silver stuff, and I think people have just bought all the pink stuff up and left me with little choice. So yeah, these are the caps that I've been doing for the back, and as you can see, they're very, very bendy, they're very thin, they're very flexible. So they've got to be thin, so the magnetic field can pass straight through without too much of an air gap. Right, so I've got these two done, almost. I have to put the wheel in there, but yeah, I can put the wheel in later. I can pop this on now, actually. Should be able to pop it on now. Yeah, what the heck? Oh, it looks like I cracked that one. Doesn't matter, some ABS, some acetone on it will soon fix that. I'm not worried about it. The actual bit in the middle's got a crack, right? Right in the middle, there's a crack right there. Right across there. But I'm not worried about that. Once I put the ABS slurry on it, it'll be good as new. It's a good thing I'm doing this without the wheel in. I can put the wheel in later. Because I've got to push it in the middle. Oops. I think I've got some burry stuff on there. Right, try again. Why is it not going on? Oh, it is going on. It's just... let's see. Need a bit more brute force at the back. Ah, yeah, it's gone through now. I'm going to turn it. But it's tight. Well, this one's pretty tight, but it'll be alright once I put some of my slurry on it. It'll strengthen it. It's because it got cracked. Have I broken that nub off? It looks like I've broken it off. Well, I'm going to have to stick it in place, then it'll be fine once it dries out. But I'm a bit worried if that nub's broken at the bottom. Let's have a look. I don't know. Things don't always work out, do they? Looks like it's broken at the bottom, it's wiggling. So, hang on, let's have a look. Ah, yeah, it's cracked down there. So I'll have to put some of this stuff down here to I don't want to get it between this and the outside thing, otherwise I'll never get the damn thing to move. So I'm going to put a little bit around here. Because it broke, the thing is broken a bit. That's why I'm using this stuff and not acetone directly, because the acetone would run everywhere. But this is more like glue, so it doesn't go everywhere. I'm just going to put this around here because it's weakened for some reason. Now, stick this thing back on, we should be good. And some in the top. When that dries, it'll be as solid as a rock. Doesn't take long. Usually, I've noticed this dries out in about 4 hours. But I don't want to use super glue because it's too permanent, and also it goes everywhere. So it'll be like these two once it's done. So I can turn them like this. And that, I think I did this one this afternoon, so that's already done. It's already dried. See the back couple of turns. Actually, I should put a line on there and you can see it. And that turns a bit. So I can adjust it. So that's the other one. The wheels go, the rollers go. They're not really wheels, they're more like rollers. So I've just got to leave this one to set, because it's a good thing I haven't put the roller in this one yet, because I want to make sure this sticks properly and make sure it's strong enough before I do put the roller in it. But it should be alright once it's dried out for a few hours. Making sure that's all flat. It's quite tight fit, this one, but it'll be alright. Yeah, needs time to dry. Anyway, I think I'll end the live stream there, because the whole purpose really was just to help a friend who I'm helping with the replication, if he wants to. That's if he wants to do it. It's up to him. But